In 1324, a man left his palace and walked toward Mecca. He brought his army, he brought his servants, and he brought enough gold to permanently break one of the most powerful economies on earth. His name was Mansa Musa, and what he did, entirely by accident, is still being felt today. Before we get to the crime, you need to understand the criminal, not because he was evil, because he was almost incomprehensibly powerful. The Mali Empire in the 14th century was not a footnote. It was one of the largest political entities on earth, stretching across modern-day Mali, Senegal, Guinea, Gambia, and Niger. At its peak, it covered roughly 1.2 million square kilometers, larger than Western Europe. But land wasn't the source of its power. Gold was. At its peak, historians estimate the Mali Empire produced roughly half of the entire world's gold supply. Every coin minted in Europe, every merchant transaction from London to Beijing. A significant portion of the gold that made it possible came from one place, Mansa Musa's kingdom. And Mansa Musa, the 10th Mansa, meaning King of Kings, controlled all of it. He didn't just have wealth, he had the source of wealth. Now, 1324, Mansa Musa decided it was time to make his Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. The problem? He didn't know how to travel small. What happened next is almost impossible to picture. 60,000 men, 12,000 servants, each one personally carrying 4 pounds of gold bars, 80 camels, each one loaded with 300 pounds of gold dust. Historians estimate the total value at somewhere between $400 million and $1.5 billion today. He planned to give it away. The caravan moved north, through the Sahara, into Egypt. When they arrived in Cairo, word spread immediately. A king from the south, with more gold than anyone had ever seen, and he was giving it away. He gave gold to the poor, he gave gold to mosques, he gave gold to merchants. And for a few weeks in the summer of 1324, Cairo felt like paradise. Then something changed. The prices started rising. A merchant noticed bread cost a little more than last week. A craftsman noticed his savings were buying slightly less. A lender noticed the gold coins felt worth less somehow. They weren't imagining it. What Mansa Musa had done, completely unintentionally, was flood the Egyptian economy with so much gold that gold itself lost its value. This is demand-pull inflation. When too much money chases too few goods, prices rise. Mansa Musa had effectively increased Egypt's entire money supply in a matter of weeks. Egypt's economy didn't stabilize for 12 years. 12 years, from one man's shopping trip. But here's where the story gets truly strange. When Mansa Musa realized what he had done, he tried to fix it. On his return journey from Mecca, he borrowed gold back from Cairene lenders, at interest, and deliberately pulled it out of circulation to restore its value. In modern economics, we call this quantitative tightening. Mansa Musa did it intuitively in the 14th century, with no economists, no data models. He just understood. Too much money in one place breaks the system. The richest man in history taught himself central banking by accidentally destroying an economy. This story contains 3 lessons more relevant today than in 1324. Lesson 1: gold is not a safe haven, it's a market. Until someone changes the supply. Mansa Musa changed the supply, gold collapsed overnight. This happened again in the 1980s when central banks sold reserves. Prices dropped 65%. No asset is immune to supply shocks. Lesson 2: your wealth doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists in relation to a system. The more money that flows into a closed system without more goods, the less each unit is worth. This is why inflation happens. This is why 2020 to 2022 felt like Mansa Musa's Cairo. Lesson 3: the winners weren't the ones who grabbed the gold. They were the lenders who held their positions and charged him interest to borrow it back. They understood the system better than the richest man in the world did. In every financial disruption, the winners aren't those with the most assets. They're the ones who understand the mechanics while everyone else panics. Mansa Musa didn't lose anything. He went home the richest man on earth. But the Cairene lenders made money off him. Think about that. The Mali Empire collapsed within a century of his death. Not from war, not from drought, because the gold ran out. The very source of its power was its single point of failure. If you want to understand how the financial systems we live in today were actually built, who designed them, who broke them, who profited from the wreckage, this channel is for you. New video every week. See you next week.